Oh, we got a good one today, baby. We're going to talk about America's most dangerous drives.
That's me driving right now. It's very dangerous.
Yeah,
Did you like that?
This should be a lot of fun. We'll
be.
pull up some historic facts and a few things about these different roads that pretty dangerous, pretty white-knuckle driving.
Yeah, that you want to take your Toad, not your RV on.
That's right. So put on your seatbelts.
Because here we go.
This is RV Destinations Podcast.
Hello and welcome to the RV Destinations Podcast. I am Randy B. Heimer here with my lovely and most talented wife, Caly B. Heimer.
I am very talented.
You are very talented.
Very talented.
We'd like to welcome everybody out, the YouTube watchers and the audio podcast listeners. Thank you so much for joining in. Today we're going to have a lot of fun. It's just Caly and I. We have not invited any guests.
Nope, other than our dogs and Gus.
Yep, they are here and paying attention while they sleep. But today we're going to be talking about some of the top dangerous roads in America.
Yeah, this is interesting because they're all across the United States and even out in Hawaii. But I'm like losing my brain is not functioning right at this moment. I will get my thoughts together.
All right, you collect your thoughts. You sit over there, look cute, and collect your thoughts.
Okay, I'm going to collect them
now. All
now.
right, so these are not based on fatalities necessarily. Fatalities kind of went into the scoring, but also like how many bends, what kind of weather conditions. There's a lot of things that kind of factor into these, making these some of the dangerous. And we're not going to put them in any kind of specific order, but these are, I think we got 5 or 6 of them that we're going to go through, and we're just going to touch on them. And, let us know if you've been on any of them, if you've had any experience on any of them, put it down in the comments below. If you're listening to the audio podcast, just send us an email at publishers@rvdestinationsmagazine.com and let us know your story. We are posting stories in our magazine. If you're not a subscriber, or if you are a subscriber, we got a little section at the end of the magazine, and we're going to be posting a lot of these stories there. So if you have some, let us know. We'd love to hear them.
Yeah, and I finally collected my thoughts. What I was trying to say is these are definitely drives you don't want to take your RV on. Even if you have like probably a little Class C, you want to leave it behind. You need a relatively nimble vehicle. Some of them do require a 4-wheel drive capable vehicle. And this is some serious white-knuckle driving. Although there is an interesting road that isn't even white-knuckle driving, but still considered a very dangerous road.
Yeah, that's right. So let's go ahead and jump in. And so this first one here, we've been on many, many times, and it is white-knuckle driving.
It is.
We've talked about it on the show several times in a couple of the podcasts.
And wrote about it in the magazine, too.
And we highly suggest you doing this drive because it is such a beautiful drive. It's amazing, and that road is the $1 Million Highway, which is US 550 in Colorado between Ouray and Silverton.
Yeah,
is the official $1 Million Highway. Now, the $1 Million Highway was built in 1880. It was a toll road basically serving the Colorado coal miners. Not coal miners, silver miners.
Silver miners, yeah.
And they say where it got its nickname, $1 million, is it cost what $1 million per foot or something like that?
Yeah, something like that. Let me Google that as you talk.
There's a couple different theories on where the name came. One was it cost, I believe it was $1 million per foot to make, and then there was another one saying that out of the all the blast that they did with pulling the road off the side of the mountain, that they found millions of dollars of worth of ore in it, the silver ore.
I didn't hear that. So it got its name from a mix of legends, local lore, and awe-inspiring reality, and no one really knows the exact origin.
Exactly.
Here are the 3 most popular theories. The cost to build, like we just mentioned, at about $1 million per mile to construct it
per mile
in the early 1900s because of the steep cliffs, rugged terrain, and the crazy engineering feats that these guys had to go through. The value of the roadbed. Okay, so you were correct there. I'd never heard that before. Yeah. The roadbed being filled with mine tailings that still contained gold and silver ore.
Right.
I'd never
That's
heard
what
that
I would
one.
say. That's
okay,
what
yeah.
You just snap off. I'm wrong.
I did. You're not wrong. Gosh.
See? Mark it down in the diary of men. Right there.
It's like the only diary entry that you have. So hang on to it.
No, I believe we can go back and listen to all 99 podcasts. There was like 3.
I don't even want to give you 3. I'll give you 2. The other one is just the traveler's reaction to this actual road. That people exclaim they wouldn't drive the road again for $1 million because it was so crazy with sharp turns and drop-offs. And it is. It's a beautiful, beautiful drive. There is a section at it. As soon as you leave Ouray, there is a section where you start where the road is, it's just the very end of the road, and it's a sheer drop-off. There are no guardrails there. It is a sheer drop-off.
1,000-foot drop.
Way into the valley.
And that's what makes this road so white-knuckle and dangerous is that there's no guardrails, and you've got a 1,000-foot drop pretty much everywhere along here. There's hairpin turns, there's narrow lanes, there's rock falls happen all the time. The weather comes in very quickly.
Which we experienced, like... It was in the 60s when we left, and it was snowing when we got to Silverton.
Right. And then you also have drivers that are very distracted, taking the all-in of the scenery. And most people I don't think are texting, but they're just, they're...
ooh,
We used to call it in the Navy rubbernecking. Their heads are everywhere looking at all the beautiful sights. And you don't blame them because, it is beautiful. And there are a lot of pull-offs on here that you can pull off and do it more safely. But you also have sharp descents requiring constant braking and cars in front of you braking. So there's just a lot of different things that happen. Currently, according to Durango Herald, there's about 7 deaths on average per year. About 7 deaths. And again, if you go off the side, there's really not a whole lot of hope. But there was some good news in a 1999 wreck.
Okay.
It was a Texas church group tour bus lost control on icy road conditions on Red Mountain Pass, and they plunged over into the canyon. The remarkable story is the bus was full, is my understanding, and only 3 died. And so a lot of the other ones actually lived. So, it's always horrible to hear of any loss of life.
Right.
But, I try to look at the cup in half full that, there was all these survivors that actually made it, because if you've been there, you know exactly what we're talking about. You look over the side, and one time we were in our car, we were following a tractor trailer.
Yes.
And the tractor trailers, how they have the tandems in the back, one of their tires on their tandem was off the road.
Off the road.
It was literally
hanging
off the road.
And my palms are literally getting sweaty right now because I remember that so vividly in front of us. He made that hairpin turn, and that back tire wasn't anywhere on that road. And I was just like, oh my gosh. Yeah.
Yep. Yeah. So one thing you want to obviously avoid this in the wintertime. I would not drive in the wintertime. I would not take my RV across to either.
No, not at all.
I mean, if I absolutely had to, I would.
Like, it's the end of the world, and it's your only way to get away from the zombie apocalypse. Okay, then maybe take your RV. Outside of that, you might be better just running on foot and hoping that one of the zombies falls off the ledge.
Right. That's exactly right. Okay, so moving on to the next one is when we're taking it back to Tennessee area.
Yeah.
And we're going to the Tail of the Dragon, which is US 129 in the Tennessee-North Carolina border. This is a extremely popular motorcycle.
Hugely popular motorcycle road.
And sports cars.
Yeah.
But there's 318 curves throughout this stretch of road. It's 11 mile stretch, 318 curves. It's become an international mecca, and I'm reading this right off of this website, for motorcyclists and sports car drivers. It straddles the edge of the Great Smoky Mountains National Park. So every motorcycle driver I know, now we live in Kentucky, well, we live in a motorhome now, but we've lived in Kentucky for many, many years, and every motorcycle rider I know talks about the Tail of the Dragon.
Yeah. I've had my mom and stepdad have ridden it along with other family members. I had a personal story of a friend years and years and years ago. So this was in my early 20s, and he was a very, very, very advanced motorcycle driver. He had competed in dirt bikes, motorized dirt bikes. I mean, the guy was good. He was very, very good. And a group of folks of the guys that had their motorcycles went down to the Tail of the Dragon. They said they came around one of the hairpin turns. He got too close to the edge. His back tire slipped off. It threw him into the cement wall. And unfortunately, he didn't live by the time that the air care showed up. And one of the problems with this is it's so hard to get to.
Yep.
Like, EMS can take upwards of 45 minutes. And by the time air care got to him, he was already gone. So, I mean, it's a serious road. But again, if you if you take it slow, take it safe, drive within your capabilities, and even within your capabilities, just be super duper extra careful.
Yeah, so some of the other things, we said 318 curves, which obviously that's a lot in an 11-mile stretch, but there's endless tight blind curves. There's no shoulders. There's no escape routes. It's lethal to motorcycles unfamiliar with the terrain. You know, that you've got a lot of motorcycles and cars going high speeds, you know, with overcorrections and different things like that. And, of course, there's a canopy of trees. And so you can have frequent light changes. You can be in the dark, and then all of a sudden you've got
you're blinded,
the sun.
like,
Blind by the sun. And as Caly said, EMS response time on average is 45 minutes or more to get there. So now there's also one other thing, and if you've ever driven this, you've seen this. We have not seen this, but on let me see. There's something that's called, I guess, the Tree of Shame. It's covered in erect bike parts from crashes over the decades. Riders leave them like a memorial or warning to, you know, be careful on this road. So whether you're driving a motorcycle or a sports car or just a regular car, got to be careful here. There's about 1 to 2 deaths every year. There's been 37 deaths between 2000 and 2017, and that's sourced from WLOS in Nashville. So anyway, travel tips are: go early, stay in your lane, ride within your skill level. The road eats egos for breakfast.
Yeah, I like that. The road eats egos for breakfast. And it's so true. You know, like I said, just all these roads we're talking about can be a ton of fun, but just keep your ego in check. And that's all you got to do. Take your time. Who cares if the person behind you is riding your rear end and wants you to go faster? Take your time.
Let them.
Let them. That's right.
We just read the book Let Them. It's a very good book.
Yeah.
We might tell you to, you know, pick that up. I listened to the audiobook. Caly read the actual book. And
let them.
I tell you what.
Let them ride your rear end. You just go ahead and let them.
That's right, exactly. So the next one, we're going to go out to Hawaii. Now, Caly and I have not been on this. We do have a writer that wrote all about it, so we're a little familiar. Now, this one is going to be very, very eye-opening as far as how many deaths happen on this road every year.
And the nickname of it, they call it the Rainforest Roulette. I mean, come on.
All right, so the history is completed in 1926. The Hana Highway, so we should tell you, we're talking about the Hana Highway, which is Route 360 in Maui, Hawaii. But completed in 1926, the Hana Highway was built to connect remote communities on the Maui's northeastern coast. It winds through dense rainforests, over waterfalls and along sheer ocean cliffs. And so there's 620 curves, 59 one-lane bridges, constant rain, which equals slick roads and limited traction. There's sudden blind turns, overgrowth, and oncoming rental cars. I love how they put out rental cars.
Those freaking rental cars.
Frequent landslides, flooding, falling rocks. Drivers often stop in the road for photos. Bridge floods during heavy rain and trapping drivers. And so this sounds like a wonderful...
It sounds like a very pleasant Sunday afternoon drive.
But here's the kicker. This road averages 68 to 73 deaths per year.
A year. I just saw that. I mean, think about that. So the one that we just talked about in Tennessee, there's 1 to 2 deaths a year. This one is 68 to 73 deaths a year.
Well, I mean, $1 Million Highway was only 7.
Right.
And so 68 to 73 deaths per
year.
year.
No wonder they call it Rainforest Roulette.
Well, and I think the thing there, it sounds like a lot of people are sliding off the road, and that tends to happen quite a bit. So one of the notable crashes is in 2016, twin sisters were involved in a fatal crash after a fight behind the wheel. One twin died after her SUV plunged 200 feet off the cliff. The case went to trial, garnering national media attention.
Jeez.
So they were actually trying to press charges when I read about the story.
Really?
To the other twin, because they were essentially fighting and arguing and lost control during this bickering in the car. And they, one of the sisters died. And
so they both plunged 200 feet.
One lived and one died.
Oh my!
Right.
I think that is punishment enough. You know, I mean, that's your twin sister.
Right.
I mean, you got to live with that. I think that's punishment enough.
Yeah, I don't think if it was malicious.
Right.
I mean, it's truly an accident. Neither one of them expected or wanted to go over the side. So.
Exactly. So if you are daring enough to do this road and you are in one of those darn rentals, take your time. don't stop in the middle of the road for pictures. If you want to stop, make sure you are in an area that you can completely get off the road very, very safely. Let the yield to the locals. They drive this road all the time. Yield to them, get out of their way, pull off if you can, let them go around you, and just take your time. Have fun, but take your time.
Yep. The next way we're going to go out to Montana, and this is one that is kind of a sleeper, so to speak.
It is.
You wouldn't think of this, but Caly and I rode this entire highway. It's U.S. Highway 2 in Montana, and the thing is, there's nothing.
Nothing. And
it's straight.
And I had commented to Randy because we had left Glacier National Park. At this time, we were in between. This is when our Winnebago was in the shop getting the engine rebuilt. So we bought a travel trailer because we had some trips that we had to do for the magazine and personally. So we had this big 28-foot travel trailer. No. It was 38 feet. Oh, that's right.
3 slides.
Yeah, 38-foot
Massive.
travel trailer. And I'm driving. I'm taking this stretch, and we are on this stretch of road, and I just kept going, babe, there is nothing. It's like wheat fields is literally as far as your eye could see. It would be a good 15 minutes before you'd see another vehicle go by. I mean, it was just nothing. And it was straight and ever so slightly kind of like rolling hills, but it just went on and on and on. And on.
Well, I don't know about you. I can't speak for you, but I was kind of shocked to see this road on there. But after we tell you the little story behind it, then it kind of makes sense. So a little bit about the history. It was once a railroad trade route across the High Lane US 2. Remains a long, lonely road slicing through the northern edge of Montana and vast prairies and with minimal services. So basically, why this is such a dangerous road is it's so long and it's so boring. So long, straight roads equals driver fatigue, poor lighting, no barriers, limited passing zones, wildlife. You got moose and elk and a bunch of different things appear suddenly. Winter brings on, of course, snow, black ice, and all that. And then the EMS response time can take 90 minutes to get to you from there. So now what we, our first-hand experience is everybody's passing everybody.
Yeah, when they are passing. And again, it's like it's not a very trafficked road.
No, but everybody's doing 80.
Yes, they are.
I don't remember what the speed limit on US 2 was, but you've got a lot of people that are passing, and there has been a lot of head-on collisions.
Right, because again, the road is doing this kind of ever so slight up and down. I don't want to call them hills because they weren't like hills, like gentle whoop-de-woos, but enough that it creates blind spots. And people just think, oh, no one's coming because this is an empty road. They go to pass as you're going up one of these whoop-de-woos, and then lo and behold, somebody on the other side is coming up the other side of that whoop-de-woo.
Or like us, we were pulling that big 38-foot,
right.
and I actually passed a couple people, but it felt very dangerous because we didn't go very fast.
Yeah.
We had what did we have? A 6.2 in that Durango. We had a Power Wagon. I can't remember 6.2, 6.3.
A Durango,
or not Durango.
It was a Power Wagon.
Power Wagon.
Okay,
yes.
I was confused. I was like, when did we own a Durango?
That was just random piece that popped out. But anyway, so I remember there were several times where I had started off, the coast was clear, but by the time I got up to speed and got around, there was another car coming the other direction. So,
and I love the nicknames that this road has, which is the Highway of Death and the Long Silence.
Two nicknames, yeah.
Right.
So this highway has 25 deaths per year on this US 2 corridor.
Crazy.
It's quite a bit. It seems like a lot. So
it does seem like a lot.
So we have what's called a notable pattern. Rather than one high-profile crash, it's the consistency of deadly incidents that earned its nickname. High speed, head-on collision, and delays in emergency response are major factors in what makes the U.S. Highway 2 east of Glacier in Montana the Highway of Death.
Yeah, so if you find yourself on Highway 2, you don't have to worry about hairpin turns and bridges being swept away by water. You just have to stay alert, stay awake. It is beautiful. It was a very beautiful drive. I, again, was in awe of
the wheat
fields. I was, because it was just literally from horizon to horizon, in front of you and in back. It was wheat fields everywhere. It was incredible. It was incredible to see. I mean, but that's all you see. So there's nothing else for a very long time.
Yeah, I'm not sure. I'm not sure I agree with her about beautiful because all it is wheat fields.
It's just
if you
wheat fields.
You can see that in Nebraska.
I know, but literally, like over here and where it seems like the world ends is still a wheat field.
Yeah,
That's
all
what
right.
I thought was incredible.
Love's RV stops are conveniently located at Love's travel stops across the country. Let Love's be a part of your journey on your next RV trip. With over 100 RV stop locations nationwide, you can reserve an RV spot overnight and turn on amenities all from your phone. With over 420 dog parks, they've even got your furry family members covered. They are the perfect pit stop for everyone on the road. Fuel up, grab a bite to eat, and stay the night at Love's. Download the Love's app to save on fuel, snacks, and book your RV stay. And use code DESTINATIONS10 for 10% off your next RV booking. Love's, the heart of the highway.
All right, so we're gonna go out west, and this one here, I don't know. This kind of shocked me that it's on dangerous roads, but in the deaths, it's such a long road. I guess I could see that, but we're taking you out to State Route 1, the Pacific Coast Highway, specifically between Monterey and Morro Bay, is one of the top dangerous roads in America. So let's tell a little bit about the history. Built in segments beginning in 1910, the Pacific Coast Highway hugs the edge of the Pacific Ocean, threading through Big Sur, coastal cliffs, and historic bridges. It remains one of the America's most iconic and dangerous drives. So, and I think doing research here, what makes it so dangerous is of course you got steep cliffs with no shoulders, and then you have rock slides, mud slides, and frequent erosion too, and all the weather. But you get a lot of people that get the rubberneck going. They start looking around like wow, look at the ocean and everything.
It does hug. It hugs the ocean.
Right.
It's a beautiful drive. We've been on portions of it. We've not been on the whole thing. One of the things we've talked about is doing an RV trip because one of our writers actually wrote a whole piece on doing an RV trip down the Pacific Coast Highway from Monterey to Morro Bay. So that's in one of our issues. Definitely check that out.
Right. So the other thing they got to deal with this, and if you're from California, you know this. If you're along the coast there, thick fog banks suddenly reduces visibility to zero. It comes in quickly. Tourists often swerve or brake erratically for views, which
no, not tourists.
And then road closures are common, and alternate routes are hours away. And so you've got a lot of different things going on here. Now, the average annual fatalities. Now, this is across the whole State Route 1, so this is a long, long road. So you got to take this with a grain of salt, but there's an estimated 90 to 100 deaths a year on this road. But this is a long road. This is not like a 13-mile stretch.
Right. And it says most of those are concentrated near Big Sur. So just be cautious of that.
Which is where I think all the cliffs and all the beautiful scenery and all that is.
Epic views. And I get that. Again, because California is such, and Highway 1 is such a touristy location, and you get a lot of international folks that come in from other countries that do a lot of tourism in and through California and take those drives. And driving in other countries is completely different than in the United States. So when you get somebody from another country who has their rental car going down the road, it's not uncommon in another country to just stop where you are and get out and take pictures. But you can't really do that in the United States in a lot of places. So, and that's what happens. People just stop. They're like, whoa, look at the great view. And let's stop the car, and kids run across the road. And,
there's plenty of designated pull-off areas, so make sure you use the pull-off area. Don't just stop in the middle of the road, of course. I think most people know that.
Exactly.
We're RVers. We're all professional drivers,
exactly,
right?
Exactly. We are telling the rest of the non-RVing world how to drive.
All right. So our next one, we're going back. We've spoke about this. We're going to Utah, and that's Route 261, which is the Moki Dugway. We've talked about the Moki Dugway. We love the Moki Dugway. This is White-Knuckle driving for sure. So it's constructed in 1958 to haul uranium ore. This gravel road descends 1,200 feet in 3 miles via a series of unguarded switchbacks carved into a cliff. And that's pretty much perfectly describes the Moki Dugway.
It is. You literally drive. It's very, very close to Monument Valley. So you drive, essentially the that lower level of around Monument Valley to come up to this massive butte / mesa, and you take this gravel switchback road 1,200 feet straight up to get to the top of this mesa / butte.
Well, it's right by the Valley of Gods. So if you
Yes.
know where Valley of Gods, which Callie's correct, it is near Monument
Oh,
Valley.
it is.
but
Okay, I forgot the Valley of
It's
the Gods.
literally right outside
It
of Valley of the
is.
Gods.
It is, yeah.
So you cannot take an RV. You
No.
cannot take a truck or anything like that.
Like a dually, I would not even take a dually up there.
I mean, you see them, but it's going to be tight.
It's tight because it's one lane. No guardrails. And we say no guardrails, but honestly, folks, on roads like this,
guardrail
guardrails
wouldn't
don't
even help.
matter.
Exactly.
You're going to hit that thing and your massive vehicle is just going to rip that guardrail right off and pew, right over the edge you're going to go.
So it's a 10% grade. It's got loose gravel. There's extreme drop-offs. There's no railing, no pullouts. One wrong turn equals 1,200-foot fall.
Mm-hmm.
You get strong winds, which we saw that, sudden dust storms, no signage, no guardrails, and no room for large vehicles. So that makes it a perfect white-knuckle driving road. And we've driven it 3 or 4 times. By the time, we were staying in the Monument Valley area for a couple weeks, and we ended up driving up like 2 or 3 times. By the time we got there the 3rd, 4th time, it was like, okay, it's nothing. We're flying down it. But it is, I think it's scarier going down because you're on the edge.
You're on the edge,
the
just
whole way down.
looking down. Yeah.
When you're going up, you're against the cliffside, and so you're looking over the other side of the road, so it isn't as scary. But
when I was writing the article for this, I had found a website that told stories of the maintenance worker that used to maintain this road. And he maintained this road for, we're going to say like 10, 15 years.
It was a long time.
And his stories were unreal, because he had one of those big, I want to call it like a sled, kind of like a sled, has the blade on the front, to kind of flatten out the road. That's what he maintained the road with. And I mean, people like coming up behind him and their brakes going out because they rode their brakes all the way down. And he was literally holding them back with his machine.
Right.
And then had one car that almost like pushed him up over a hill because it was just too heavy. I mean, and it's loose gravel.
Well, and you got to keep in mind, this is a state route.
Yes.
So a lot of people will come to it not realizing that like a
it's-
truck or even a box truck, not even necessarily a semi, but he had countless stories of tractor trailers
Trailers
getting stuck there.
and having to get them out. Oh, tell the story of the 2 brothers.
Yeah. So we went up this road, and I think it was the second. We've probably been up and down it 4 or 5 times. Probably the second or third time, I kept looking over to the side, and I'm like, I think that's a truck sitting down there, and it looks like something from the 40s or 50s.
Yeah.
It looked like a 40s or 50s Chevy. And so we went up, and then we went back down, and we looked for it, and Callie saw it the next time. We're like, okay, that's definitely a vehicle off the side. So Callie continued to Google or went to Google to see if she could find anything about this story, and she found the story about this truck that's, it's more towards the top.
It is. It's one of the first, as you're coming down, it's one of the first couple of switchbacks.
Right.
Why
don't you tell the story?
Yeah, the story is it was 2 guys from one of the tribes down at the bottom of the hill, one of the Navajo Nation.
Yeah.
So 2 brothers from there, and they had taken their pickup trucks to the top of the hill to cut some wood, had loaded their pickup trucks up, and this is something they had done all the time. Got in their pickup trucks, started heading back down the hill. Well, they had the brother in the front in his truck had loaded too much. And so what was happening is the front of the truck was lifting up as they were hitting the bumps.
I couldn't even
And
imagine that.
the brother in the back describes it. He's like, he could see the truck, his brother's truck in front of him, like bouncing up. And the brother went to go turn, but the truck has bounced up. So there was no front tires on the ground. And he said he watched his brother just go straight over the cliff. Assumed that he was dead and gone, ran over the cliff, and the truck had managed to get wedged in an area that his brother was fine. Like the truck was completely destroyed.
It looked like maybe, I'm going off of memory here, but maybe a 15, 18-foot drop.
To that
so
one little
he
section.
didn't go all the way down, because if
Right.
he would have went all the way down to 1,200 feet, he would not be with us.
And what's incredible is literally the section that he went off is like the only section that he could have gone off on and lived like he did. So he said he helped his brother get up, got in the other truck. They drove the other truck down, but there was no way to get that truck. So today, that truck still sits there.
He had to be a God-believing Native American.
If he wasn't, he is now.
Yeah, exactly. So, but yeah, now deaths, it's unconfirmed, but rare, but they're saying somewhere around 1 to 2 per year here. And I'm not sure. I don't see who actually is.
Yeah, it just says low fatality because it's very low traffic. This is not a highly trafficked road because there's other ways to get to the top of that mesa other than Route 261.
Right. That's
so I think people avoid it and go the easier way.
All right. So our last one here we've talked about on another on one of our, I think it was Moab podcast, and that is the Schaefer Trail in Utah. And this is going up into Canyonlands National Park. Now both these, the Moki Dugway and the Schaefer Trail, highly recommend you doing it. It's fun.
It's fun.
I feel like I'm more on the professional side of a driver, as far as driving RVs. There was a stretch of my life where I drove tractor trailers, and so I feel pretty confident. But the Schaefer Trail and the Moki Dugway, both. It was a little white knuckle for me.
It's a little white knuckle.
I mean, I'm not gonna lie.
Especially because both of these roads that we're talking about are all gravel. So you're not only contending with just the challenging part of the road itself, but now you're dealing with loose gravel. So if you get too much speed going and you go to hit those brakes, guess what? You're just sliding.
Right. So the story behind the Schaefer's Trail Road is it used to be a herder's trail. It was widened in the 1950s for uranium mining. Today it's a bucket list road for off-roaders in Canyonland National Park. Now the beautiful thing is you can take the road, and it's not called Schaefer. Do you remember the name of it back in Moab? So you can go from Moab all the way to the Schaefer Trail.
It has a weird name. Let me see if I can find it.
Yeah, but anyway, it's a beautiful drive. There's a lot of gorgeous scenery along the way. We've taken it, and we highly recommend taking the entire road. And again, you pick it up shortly out of Moab, and I can't think.
I know, I'm looking.
Callie's looking, so hopefully
I'm ferociously looking.
Hopefully she finds it, but it turns into the Schaefer's Trail once it gets into Canyonlands National Park. You're off-roading on dirt, and you pass through this fence section. It says now entering Canyonlands National Park, and so that's when it officially becomes Schaefer Trail, and you pretty much go up the side of the death. So. Did you find it?
I think I'm getting there. I find Schaefer Trail Viewpoint, so now I'm following this crazy road all the way back.
While you look for it, I'll continue on. So one of the notable things, it was used for Thelma and Louise, the movie Thelma and Louise. It was an iconic cliff drive scene. A real car was sent off the edge during filming, but part of a cinematic legend there. So again, if you remember that scene in Thelma and Louise where they drove off the cliff together, it was actually shot here. So what makes this so dangerous is pretty much like the Moki Dugway. It's extremely narrow switchbacks carved into the canyon walls. You got loose gravel, falling rocks, and zero railings.
Potash Road.
That's right.
Utah 279.
Right,
Yep.
right. So take that potash. It will go straight into Schaefer's, but highly recommend it.
Yeah,
So.
it was a very sorry. I didn't hear a whole lot of what you just said. I'm having a Randy moment because I was busy Googling. But it's a beautiful drive, and there's a lot of places that you can pull off, especially when you come from the potash side. Potash, however you say it, there's a lot of wide open space. So, and what's neat too is you've got kind of Canyonlands up at the top, and then the Schaefer Trail is one level lower, but then there's even a lower level that goes all the way down to, I believe that's the Colorado River.
Yes.
So it's really
maybe
one of the rivers. It's a river. But what's really incredible is you're like looking up at these massive cliff faces, but standing on this edge, we parked back when we had the Jeep at the edge and looking way down another massive cliff face down to the river below. So it was just like, oh my gosh, look at all these layers. That was pretty incredible. So there's areas where there's plenty of space to kind of drive around, get out, explore. You could have a little picnic. Once you get into the national park, the road definitely narrows, and there's fewer places to pull over, And especially as you're going up those switchbacks, there's very, very limited spaces to let other people by.
Yeah, so you rise about 1,500 feet once you get up to Canyonlands National Park. And I highly recommend, and I'm sure you will, stop and pull off when you get to the top. Or I think you got to drive a little bit, turn left, and then drive a little bit if I remember. But there's some overlooks too. You can look at the entire Potash and Schaefer Trail Road. And it really takes some pretty incredible pictures if you get up there with your camera.
It does, because we did that. So we got up to the top, we hung a left, we went down, we did the overlook. And from up there, it looks like the road is like a piece of hair. It's so thin. And we're like, oh my gosh, we were just down there, and you can watch it zigzag through the valley below.
Yeah, unlike the Moki Dugway, really any kind of vehicle can get up there. We saw cars going up and down, all that. This here, they're highly recommending only high clearance four-wheel drive, because there are some sections where you're going through, washout areas and stuff like
and
that.
Some bigger rocks that, not that I'm saying you're rock crawling, but bigger rocks that your all-wheel drive vehicle is not going to be able to handle.
Right.
That you really do need a four-wheel drive that is high clearance to be able to get over some of those.
Right. And keep in mind, there's no cell signals, there's no water, there's no nearby recovery services, there's no infrastructure of any kind of flash floods, trapped drivers there without warning. Now the amount of deaths, it actually averages under 1 death per year, so there's not many, so it's pretty safe. You don't think that while you're driving up the side.
No, you don't. You really don't when you start getting up that side.
But I think most people are respectful. You know, this Schaefer's Trail had a couple pull-offs because it's almost just a one-lane road.
It is.
And so when you meet somebody coming down or going up, now we went from Moab up, but you can also drive to Canyonlands and come down it and go back to Moab that way. And I like the way we went going up, but you know, when you meet another car, there's not a whole lot of room. And so they do have pull-offs where you might have to back up and go to one of these pull-offs to let somebody get around you. So, but anyway, so that's all the roads we have today. Hopefully this has been fun. It's been very enjoyable for us.
Something a little different. We threw a whole bunch of different destinations out at you.
Right. And if you've got any that you want to share with us or any stories, definitely let us know. Send us an email at publishers@RV Destinations Magazine. Like I said, we're going to be publishing some of these stories in the actual magazine. So give us your story. Let us know about your White-Knuckle driving experience. We can think of a couple more. When we went out to Dinosaur National Monument, the one in Colorado, we took the RV over.
Oh, my gosh.
I was really White-Knuckle driving that time.
And that was one where our RV GPS said that we could do this. And it was the end of the snow season, so there was still snow melt. So they were still bulldozing snow off the roads.
Right.
And we were going up over a mountain overpass. So the roads were still very loose, gravelly, and we're dealing with snow. I think it was down to 1 lane because of the snow that was still melting. And I'm like, I don't think we should be on this road with the RV.
Right,
Yeah.
right. You remember the scene in RV where the RV gets stuck and teeter-tottering?
That's literally what we thought we were going to happen to us. I'm like, I really don't think we're supposed to be on this road, but even our RV GPS said that it was okay. And we're like, all right, I guess.
Yeah. Again, send us your story. We would love to hear it, and it may get to print in one of our issues. So anyway, thanks for tuning in. Caly, you want to take us out?
Yeah, thank you all for joining us today. It's just the two of us as we bring to you some crazy roads that you may or may not want to check out throughout the United States. So let's see. Yes. So please rate, review, and subscribe to the RV Destinations podcast wherever you find and listen to your podcast. Don't forget, we're out on YouTube, so get out there and hit that subscribe button so that you are always up to date on our newest content. Check out our website, rvdestinationsmagazine.com. Exciting stuff coming down the road. So if you guys are still listening, super, super exciting, amazing, incredible things coming down the road. Some big announcements coming. So hang in there because we got a lot of stuff to share with you. So thank you all for being here and joining us today.
Drive safely.
Safe travels, y'all.